right, folks, John Rush here, my son Richard Rush behind the camera. We're going to do a review of the all-new 2016 Chevrolet Malibu, and this has been redesigned completely from the ground up. It's all new. It takes some things from its big sister, I guess you could say, the Impala, some of the lines, some of the looks. What do I think of this car? We'll tell you as we go through the review, so let's just get right into it. Come around the front of the car and you'll notice much sleeker front end, much more aggressive styling that they've done to the new Malibu. Nice lines down the side. This particular model that we're driving has the active shutters in it. This is the LT version of the car, 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. I've been averaging 36 miles to the gallon, and that's kind of an around town mileage. It's rated at 27 and 37. You'll notice this car has about a 4-inch longer, almost 4-inch longer wheelbase, which gives it about 1.5 inches to 2 inches extra room as far as rear seat passenger room is concerned. Again, look at the aggressive styling on the car. I really love the third brake light and what they did up here on top. There's some great safety features that come with this car, and also comes with what they call teen driving, which we'll get into later in the review. But I tell you what, let's just get right into it. And without further ado, let's just open the trunk. Let's just get right into it. So as I push the button, open the trunk, the key fob's inside. And piece of cardboard here, let me toss that over here. You'll notice, nice big trunk. You can fold the seats down by just pulling this little lever right here. The seats will fold down, but you'll notice, nice spacious trunk. It's very deep. There is a hybrid version of this car, which I do not know a lot about, but what I will tell you is it's got a lot of the systems in it that the Volt uses. It shares a lot of the technology that the Volt has, I should say, and that car will get 48 miles to the gallon in the city. I do not know what it looks like as far as trunk, rear seat, passenger room, all that stuff. Why? Because I haven't been behind the wheel of the new hybrid yet. So let me jump into the back seat over here. The lighting's a little better on this side. Let me show you how much room is actually in the rear seat here. And as I hop in here, you'll notice that this seat's almost all the way back. In fact, I think from looking at it, it is all the way back. I've still got a solid, hand width and a half or so of room in between my knees into the seat in front of me. Seat pockets back here. You'll notice the door panel styling. And again, there's not a lot of extra creature comforts in this particular model. This is the LT I should have mentioned earlier. Roughly $27,000 in this car. There are 2 USB chargers back here and another power port plus vents, so they've done a nice job that way. It's got good headroom, even with the sloping, the way the roof slopes back here. It's actually spacious. You don't have any trouble getting in and out of the car. And as you go up in models, so if you go LTZ and so on, you can get full leather and so on. But again, this car competitively priced at $27,000. That's the retail price of this car. Actually, I've got the window sticker right in front of me. This car is $27,885. That includes the destination fee of $875. So basically, this car is $27,110. It's got about $2,000 worth of options on the car. That includes the driver convenience package, which includes the IntelliBeam auto high beam headlights, front and rear park assist. It's got the sensing indicator, following distance. In other words, it tells you how close you are to the cars in front of you, forward collision alert, rear cross traffic alert, lane keep assist, and it literally will steer you going down the road. This car just keeps you right in the lane. It works really, really well. Front automatic braking, blind spot monitoring, actually zone blind spot monitoring, I should say, pedestrian detection in the front, and then it's also got the remote keyless start and a couple of other features on it, and the teen driving, which goes with the MyLink, and I'll get into some of that here a little bit later in the review as far as the Apple CarPlay, Android, and some of that. So with that, I'll hop into the front seat and we'll walk through some of those things. All right, folks, now in the front seat of the all-new 2016 Chevy Malibu. I'll let Richard, my son, kind of show you some of the seats. This is the cloth seat option on the LT, no leather. But I tell you what, the seats were comfortable, great lumbar support, didn't have any complaints that way. And I've got a good friend of mine that has a Kia Optima that really loves the way the seats in the Kia are. And I had him sit in this car, and frankly, you know what? He didn't have too many complaints on this car either. With the new updates. The older Malibus he did not like as well. The new Malibu works well. A few features on the inside as we get through it. It does have a nice deep center console. There's no ports or anything in there. It's just a storage console is all it is. One thing though that I want to note, which I think is, and I'm going to leave this up because it's easier for you guys to see. This little pocket right here, and this is the iPhone Plus with no case on it. It's just wide enough to where you can actually stick that down in there, and it's somewhat, squeezes down, and the rubber squeezes down around the phone, which would then enable you, if you're using CarPlay, you could actually plug in here, plug into your USB port. There's your Apple CarPlay. Downside is you've got a cord running around. Chevy, I wish you maybe would have put that back here where you could have actually just run it up and over the top. That would have been a little bit nicer, cleaner feature. There is a wireless charge option on this car that I don't know much about, and I have no idea where they would put it. I'll have to do some research on that, or you can do some research on it and determine if that's in the front and the back. The downside to a lot of the wireless charge options from any of the manufacturers are you've got to use a specific case for that, which frankly, I'm just one of these guys that doesn't see that going anywhere. Most people like the case they have for a reason, and even if you get wireless charging out of it, I just don't see a lot of people going that way and using it. So, you manufacturers that are listening, take that for what it's worth. Not a big deal for me personally. Maybe it is for some of you out there driving. The rest of the center stack, and they've redesigned the center stack, it is lined up really, really well. I will give them that. Everything is easy to reach. It's a piece of cake to actually control. There is not dual climate control on this particular vehicle. This is a single zone climate control. Not that that's a negative, but that's just one of the things that it has. Steering wheel, pretty standard for Chevrolet as far as all the controls. If you're used to GM, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I tell you what, without further ado, let's just go on a quick drive and I'll give you my opinion of the all-new 2016 Chevy Malibu. All right, folks, we're now going to take a drive in the all-new 2016 Chevy Malibu. And we'll go down here in the neighborhood a little bit, and I'll give you my opinion also of the car. What do I think of this car? Some of the greatest assets of it that I think that I really came to love driving the car is the 1.5 liter engine. There's a 2 liter 250 horsepower engine option, but frankly, this car works phenomenal. I've got no complaints with the way this car works. The 1.5 liter at 36 miles to the gallon really works well. It's a nice, quiet car on the interior. As I turn the corner here, I'll quit talking and let you actually listen to the interior and how quiet the car actually is. Ride quality is good. It's got all the safety features that are in it, or that you would come to expect, that I mentioned earlier. From lane keep assist to blind spot monitoring to collision alert, all those different things. The teen driving features of this car, for those of you that may be passing this down to your teen in the near future, which one of the things I always recommend is those of you that have kids that are 11, 12 years of age, even maybe 10, they're going to be driving, and literally they'll have their permits in most states by the time they're 15. So in 5 years, even if your kid is 10, they're going to be driving in 5 years. The car you're driving today very easily could be passed down to them in 4 or 5 years. So, for some of you that are looking at things that way, you should be looking at things that way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's lots of people that I recommend, hey, if you've got kids that are going to be teenagers in the next 4 or 5 years, look at the car you're driving today as potentially the next car that they'll be driving. And it's always great for you to have the car in the family already. A, it's less expensive at that point in time. Plus, you're giving them a good, solid car because you know all the maintenance on the car at that point. The features of the teen driving, we're not getting into all the details of it, but everything from setting speed alert limits to things like if you want the seat, or if the seat belt's not on, in other words, if they're not buckled up, the radio audio will not play. All sorts of different things like that. I encourage you, just read about teen driving, and all the different features are there. It comes with a specific key fob that you would program to your particular child actually driving the particular vehicle. That's how that would actually work. So let me pull over for just 1 second, kind of give you my opinion of the 2016 Chevy Malibu. And some of the things that I actually really enjoy about this car is, again, 1.5 liter turbo engine, good horsepower, start-stop technology. You can just tell I just pulled up, I'm still in drive, engine just shut off. That helps with that fuel economy, getting up to the 36 miles to the gallon around time. I'm confident if I had this car strictly on the open road, I could be 38 to probably 40 miles to the gallon on my own pretty easily. You know what? For a non-hybrid, that's really, really good. Chevrolet, you've done a great job in that respect. In fact, a lot of the cars that Chevrolet is competing with in this particular series of cars, they do much better on the fuel economy than some of their counterparts. So, Chevrolet, good job. What are the complaints I've got with this car? Really, the only complaint I've had is some of the Bluetooth connectivity to my iPhone. I've got the newest iPhone there is, and all the new software updates and so on. And there were times where, for example, I couldn't get my voicemail to play through the Bluetooth. and I don't know why. It would just go to dead air. I'd have to then unhook Bluetooth, get my voicemail to play. And when you're driving down the road, that's a hassle. So Chevrolet, that needs addressed. Don't know exactly what you need to do to take care of that. Maybe it's just this particular car. But my gut feeling is it's a Chevrolet issue because I've noticed it on some of the other cars that we've driven. The plus side is you get all the fancy features of the nav system, the audio system, the 8-inch screen, CarPlay, Android capabilities. All of that is really cool. It's got a good sound system. It works well. It's easy to navigate. Chevrolet, I like your system. You've done well that way. The one thing I do not like, though, about this system, the lack of a tune knob, which to me personally is a pain in the rear. If you get everything programmed in, that's fantastic, I guess. But if you want to vary from that at all, from your presets, it's a pain in the rear because you're tuning through these arrows here. That's, is it a deal killer? Not for me, but it may be for some of you. As I go to reverse here real quick, one thing we haven't showed you is it does have the dynamic grid lines, so I can see exactly where I'm steering, where I'm at. It does have park assist front and rear on this particular vehicle. So here's the deal. You're getting a lot of value for your money at $27,000 in this car. Frankly, it's a really good buy for everything that you get. So, is this a car for you? As we always say, you've got to get out, get in this vehicle for yourself, test drive it. And as I told somebody on the radio show yesterday even, drive multiple cars. Nothing against Chevrolet, but drive the cars in this class and see what fits you the best. And if you feel like Chevrolet is the best car for you, you know what? Then go buy it. And when you do, tell them John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.